Yo, what's up? It's that time again. The Shooting Game Weekly, episode 107. This time we're actually revisiting Assault, this time with Assault Plus, the, I guess, sequel to Assault. It's like actually a revised version, not really quite a sequel. But we'll actually be checking out some full high-scoring replays on Assault Plus today. And really diving a little bit deeper into the scoring of Assault in general and Assault Plus, and we'll talk about just how Assault Plus differs in just a moment here. But on this episode, I am joined by ggmaximo, who is bringing us the high-scoring replays of Assault Plus today as well. So, welcome to the episode, ggmaximo.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, glad to have you here. This has been. We've been kind of like leading up to this, I guess, for a little bit here, because ever since that I did that Assault episode, I was just like kind of fascinated with the game, and it turned out that actually you and Kino, on the Shmups forum have also been playing this, and was there another person playing as well? I forget.
Really?
I don't think. Okay, there wasn't another, but yeah, it's just like So people were actually playing it, and you included playing the regular Assault and Assault Plus. So here we come finally for Assault Plus. So why don't you talk a bit about how Assault Plus is different from Assault? And of course, when we're talking about Assault here, we're talking about an arcade game from 1988. Namco. This is Namco's first System 2 hardware game, and the controls are two joysticks. Each controls a tread of the tank, so that's when you move up on the right stick for the right tread, you veer to the left, and you veer to the right if you press up on the left. So it's like you have the tank controls. Just to go over that once again, but so Assault Plus, how does it differ from the original game?
Well, I guess the first thing is apparent where when you put in a credit for the game, you're given two choices, whether it's like you want to do the easy Assault mode, which it takes the first stage from the first game, as well as stages 3, 4, 5, and 11 from the first, and then kind of puts into like a mini campaign of sorts, because the enemies there are like less aggressive. Turrets don't even fire like as regularly, and all of the big turrets that you fight at the end of the stage, they're all type 1 turrets, so your strategies will like be way easier to pull off there, and it's like a really good starting point to really get into the game even before tackling like regular Assault. Then you have Super Assault, which has all of the stages of the first game except for the first one, and I think for some level designs it kind of remixes like the placement of like either enemies or like enemy turrets. And in addition, certain spots will have like additional enemies, such as I think one example in stage 1, you have a mini mid-boss who fires a bunch of missiles at you, and even though he takes 4 hits as compared to the regular 8, it still makes it kind of a challenging first stage, considering you're dealing with all the other enemies that you normally have to deal with. And then in addition, later on, some of the additional enemy setups require new strategies that you wouldn't have to do in regular Assault. And I think for the last stage 2, that one is by far the most difficult, because they decided to throw in not 1, not 2, but there's a possibility you could have to fight 4 black generators, depending on how smart you are with your strategy, or not, actually.
Yeah, like the generator, it's like the mid-boss enemy of the game, or rather the only boss of the game. Yeah, those guys, they kind of just like scattered them around in Assault Plus, didn't they?
Yeah,
They're just kind of like, almost seems like they're almost in every stage.
Yeah, like it was pretty. I think in stage 4 alone, there's like you have one regular dude that you have to kill. That's 8 hits, and then you have one in the midsection, which is a black one that you're gonna have to avoid in order for the sake of time, and that most people are gonna like screw up. And then you'll have to fight another one near the very end of the stage. And for those, it's just like you always just got to keep yourself like eyes focused on all directions, especially just because like since this is a game where you're not only can the background rotate, but the sprite can rotate as well. You're gonna have stuff coming at you from all directions, and if you don't take account for that, you're gonna like chain death pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always pretty rough. It seems like with the easy assault, or is it just called? What do they call it? Just easy?
It's like easy assault mode,
Okay,
I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting with that. Like, I wonder if if the game wasn't just doing as well as they thought it was going to do in arcades, and maybe they thought like an easier mode to get people like maybe used to the controls would make people play the game more. Because
I mean,
I don't know, like, because it seems like, I don't know, from what I'm gathering, like, it seems like the game wasn't really much of a hit, especially in the United States.
yeah,
The game really didn't take off at all.
Yeah, I did notice that too, because Assault Plus is actually a Japan-only game.
Okay, that's
just
what it
because,
was.
Yeah, because the original Assault, I believe it shipped like a tiny amount of units to like Atari, and then pretty much right afterwards, Atari separated relations with Namco for U.S. distribution. So not only did you have Namco just figuring out like what to do in terms of distribution, but then they had like a game on their hands which didn't really sell that many units and has like a specialized control setup, and then they were probably just like, screw it, we're not going to deal with this.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have our sequel be Japan only. And then the only way you can actually play it is, one, you import a PCB, play it that way, or get Namco Museum Volume 4 for the PS1, where it's hidden unlockable.
Yeah, which is nice. Actually, I did note the Wii Virtual Console as a place to play this as well, but I think that just might be for the regular Assault and not just the Assault, not the Assault Plus. So my apologies on that. Regular. But yeah, but I believe you can get the regular one there, and then on the PlayStation Network you can't, or PlayStation 1 physical, you can get a digital copy of it on the PSN, the Namco Museum Volume 4, which is really nice. I still need to check that port out myself. But
that
is
port
available.
Does have a few differences, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, to compensate, I mean, the control scheme kind of it tailors itself pretty well to using like the D-pad and the face buttons for using the two tank treads. Like, that's what you do, right?
For the D-pad?
Yeah. What's your control scheme when you play with a controller?
If I'm playing on that one, I just use my analog joystick. But with these runs on my PC, since I did this run before I had my sticks at all, I just used a default like keyboard setup where it was like ESF for up, down, left, right for the left stick, and then like IJKL for like the right stick.
Okay, sure.
Which unfortunately takes a lot of time. Like, I think it took me like a week of just constantly practicing until I could get the controls down to some respectable degree.
Yeah, it definitely takes some getting used to, for sure. But I feel like it does feel pretty damn natural once you do get used to it, and it really helps shape the gameplay pretty nicely.
Yeah, it does. I mean, once you get used to it, it actually becomes a lot of fun to just figure out like what's the best position you can be at, especially because like there's a lot of enemy setups in the later part of the game that are kind of dependent on where you're positioned. And if you're like positioned like a pixel or too far to the left, then a certain enemy will get triggered, and then just your strategy might go kaput at that point, and you have to improvise.
Yeah, we'll definitely be getting into some of the bullshit that this game has to offer you as we get into the replay, because there's like a lot of like spawn triggers, and since it is a pretty old game too, you'll see some of the like gameplay design just happening in front of your eyes, basically. Like, even in this demo, like, you see like enemies just spawning into play.
Yeah.
Because it's like use the lifting pads. So the wiki has names for like all these things, but I call them assault pads. But they're like those lift things that launch you into the air and you can attack enemies. Well, usually a lot of the stages when you use those, it's like you'll blow up some tanks on the huge map, and then that'll just cause like new ones to spawn because there's a sprite limit there. and
Yeah,
you'll just see that like happening.
yeah, and actually the whole sprite limit thing is pretty interesting because you can actually use that for some later stages in order to like cancel out certain big tanks because it doesn't want to draw all the enemies on screen at one point. So for like stage what is it? Stage 7, I think, where it has like all of these tanks that fire like an 8-way like pink spread shots. There's like a certain area I go to in the map first so that a bunch of them appear. Then I go to the other side of the map and trigger some more to appear. And then I go to the assault pad. And then when I do that, it pretty much erases like all the ones that are like in front of the turret, leaving only like 1 or 2. And then it lets you clear the stage much easier than if you did it any other way.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Like the fact that the strats are designed around like the game's limitations.
Yeah, I think that's like the
interesting.
Yeah, it's like the key to the high score there too, because like my strategy is just like be as safe as possible because you can be aggressive and like take risks to get like a score point booster, but what will be the result in the end if you make a mistake and then you lose a life that you could have been like saving for later, especially since, you know, an extra life at the end of the game is something like 200,000.
Right, which is one of the bigger differences between regular Assault and Assault Plus here. We're playing for score, which is what we'll be getting into in just a moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially because in this version too, there's no 0 seconds time bonus as there is in like the old version of regular Assault. So in this one, I think stocking lives is like more important than like worrying about like what time bonus you get or whatever.
Yeah. You know, that time bonus thing wasn't even that fun. It's like usually just we're waiting around till it got to the end, right? And then
yeah, dude, it was pretty bad.
And then
like,
you're timing like your attack, and sometimes you might mess it up, and it's like, well, thanks for wasting my time.
I mean, I got the timing down for that pretty well, but it was especially bad because you had to do that, wait like 80 seconds in stage 1 every time to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you had to do it in stage 5 for about 200 seconds, unless you did this one milking strat where you went back and just killed more little orange tanks for 100 points. Like, it was really minuscule, but it was like, I'm just going to do this so I don't get bored.
Sure. Okay, we can prepare to get started with the easy replay. I did forget to mention too, I'm being co-hosted by Cream today, so hey Cream.
Hi.
Any fun factoids for us, Cream?
Actually, I don't know very much about this game, so I'm pretty new here.
Alright, that sounds good.
There's one more thing I forgot to mention too. All the enemy types in this game, the different mechs, are all designed by this dude named Kunio Akawara, who was the primary mech designer for Mobile Suit Gundam, and apparently did all the mech designs for this game, which I thought was pretty cool.
Humble beginnings, right?
Yeah. I mean, I never expected it, but I was like, it kind of makes sense when you think about it, just because like a lot of his works are like, what if we had like more humanoid robots that kind of moved more naturally? Because like in this game too, like most tank games are like kind of slow and like kind of like war simulators, but then this one, it's just like it's rolling around, changes direction, stuff like that. It's pretty crazy compared to like tank games before that.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, all the tank designs and stuff, like they're so like meticulously detailed and intricate, like just down to every little detail. Like it's all there, like as far as the maps go and just the tanks themselves and the different types of tanks. And it is that that Namco level of like world creation going on in this game, like similar to I would even compare it to even Xevious a little bit, because the game's even got its own story as well going on. Which would you want to talk about the story? Try to sum that up for us real quick here. GG Master. Uh-oh.
Did he disappear?
No, my connection just like timed out for a second.
Oh.
Aw.
I was just asking you if you could sum up the story for Assault before we get into the replay here.
I hope there's a good Gundam plot.
Yeah, actually, let me just pull it up here.
Sure.
Okay. So the story of this game is that in the year 2199, Earth's population reaches a saturation.
Oh no.
Oh, we lost
Cut
you
out
again. Darn it. All right, I'll pick off where you left off here.
It was sounding pretty good too.
Okay. So the world's population. Good. So, in order to find a new planet Earth, they launched the Pilot 1 planetary explorer, and it has like all this military personnel and scientists aboard. And 35,000 light years from the Milky Way, Pilot 1 found a planet with floating continents. Detecting a strong life reading from the planet, Pilot 1 sent out a landing team and quickly occupied the planet. However, there was an amazing fact. The civilization of this planet was far more advanced than Earth's, yet they never had war. More puzzling still, the native population completely vanished right after the conquest. Fearing for the safety of the second generation against a counterattack by the natives, the Earth settlers strengthened their positions by building a series of fortresses on the planet. Although this was for the protection of the settlers, they had no right to rule by force. The player takes the role of a native fighter who must crush this mighty military state to save the planet.
Yeah, so contrary to what it might be getting at there in the beginning, you're not actually the Earth forces here. You're the alien on the planet, and you're blowing up all the bases that the Terran forces came and made some StarCraft on your bases and shit.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good Gundam plot.
But yeah, that's kind of cool that you're actually defending from the humans here, and it's with your badass tank that rolls on both sides with the wheels. That's some good alien tech right there.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy stuff, but I like it.
Okay, so all right, let's get into the first off the scoring replay here with the easy mode and super assault. This is 1 credit clear, no miss, and you get 1,000,000 points and 30,650. So all right,
yeah,
let's get into it then. From 41 seconds.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. So this first stage is pretty simple. You're just killing these tanks as fast as possible, just because this mode, when you play for high score, it's kind of like a score attack, and you're just rushing through as fast as possible. And then go around the back, killing some of these dudes right here, and then you kill this one tank. And then I just keep rushing towards the end, where you meet up with 2 Type 1 turrets. And then, bam, the stage is already done.
Yeah. So each stage, to complete it, you gotta destroy the big turrets at the end, typically. But sometimes they're scattered throughout the stages.
Yeah, I believe for this mode, all the turrets are at the very end. It's only in Super where you have to deal with anything that's scattered around.
Okay.
So you're kind of dropping through the ground here.
Yeah.
And, going to the next maze.
Yeah, you are. And then it's pretty much like a transporter to the next area, which this one happens to be called Crops in Riverside, or Crops Grow in Riverside. It's kind of a weird stage name.
Is this supposed to be the alien planet?
Yeah, all these different areas are on the alien planet. But I'm not actually sure as to whether they're actually supposed to be called by their respective names, because when I looked it up, some of the area names are kind of weird. It's did they just forget to properly name it?
A lot of those were in the ending, weren't they?
Yes, they are. I mean, I can point it out too, once we get to that point.
So in the easy mode, did you have any particular enemies that had less health or more health, or is it just the way the courses are arranged? Or
Well,
yeah, how's it different? Particularly?
okay. I think there is like less enemy HP, but I can't actually confirm it for sure because I haven't tested it out enough. But my best guess is that like at least for like the big tanks, they have less HP overall, just by comparison to like a similar stage in Super.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think on one of these upcoming stages, which is the one with the flyers, they take one hit in this one as opposed to like two in Super.
Okay, that's definitely something there.
And then I believe too, when you're doing like this and Reconstructor Ruined Home stages in Super, the Type 7 missile tanks as well as like the spread shot tanks take something ridiculous like 48 hits each.
Ah, God.
So I believe,
yeah, so you are moving along pretty quickly here.
yeah. I think where I'm at the video right now, we're at the mid-boss enemy,
Yep.
which in this one takes 4 hits, which is something that's different too from the Super Assault mode, which if you're playing on that one, it's going to take 8 hits. And then also you notice too, these missiles don't fire out any like shots or anything like that.
Oh, nice.
So I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, the missiles normally fire off at you, then lasers come out of the missiles, which are also aimed at you, and then they also like predict where you're going to be too, seemingly.
Yeah. Yeah, you always have to be careful about that because I've had too many times where a run ended because of that.
But yeah, you had a little scoring trick there with those missiles that pop out of the ground. You're just bombing them immediately.
Yeah, actually,
So that you get the score there.
Yeah, I memorized the location of where the missiles spawn for the most part, so that like when I'm in an actual run, I can anticipate, bomb, and then keep moving and get the points at the same time.
Okay, yeah, there you go. And this all adds up, of course.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's just like the little things that count too, just because even though like 800 points may not seem like much for a missile, there's a lot of them per stage, and then you just add them up.
I'm guessing this game has like rank changes.
Rank?
I don't
think it does.
Yeah, I don't think it does, actually.
I mean,
like the enemies just kind of they always just do what they do for the most part.
Yeah, that's an accurate depiction. Like they're normally always like either this aggressive or some of them like later on. I think especially in this game, some of the bigger tanks just like start acting depressed for no reason at all.
Depressed tanks.
Yeah. It's because there's a reason why they're depressed in particular. It's because when you first see them, they do fire at you once, but then they lose the will to fight. Therefore, they are depressed.
Yeah, it's probably like a programming bug or something silly, but it's just kind of funny all the same because it makes some of the middle stages just like really kind of trivial when all they can do is just fire off one volley, and then either like the tank AI or whoever's sitting the tank just like is like, oh man, I'm having a crappy ass day. I don't want to do this anymore.
Or maybe it ran out of ammo.
Or fuel, like they had to maybe go home and fuel up.
Yeah, but
ammo or
they're
fuel,
long
yeah.
ways from home.
So you have like the various types of big tanks here.
Yeah,
it's really important in the game to recognize the different enemy types, especially when it comes to the big tanks and the small tanks too. Probably the orange small ones are the most evil.
Yeah, either those ones are like the armored ones, just because like when you were first doing it, like it takes something like 3 or 4 hits to kill the small ones, and then they're fast too.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this section right here, it's modeled after stage 5 regular assault, with just a few minor differences, like those missiles popping out.
Mm-hmm.
But the strategy is pretty much the same. Besides, all of these turrets here are type 1, which means you can kill them way easier. As opposed to having like, I think in super mode for this, you have to deal with one Type 2 turret on the right side and one Type 3 on the left.
Right.
And then you'll have additional spinner spawns coming out.
Like, they definitely, like, made some things harder and some things easier here and there for the Plus version. Like, they did have all, like, the level 1 type turrets there, but the middle of the stage was a lot harder because they threw that the mid-boss generator in the middle of that stage that was not there before.
Yeah,
And,
that's true.
That's a really annoying part to deal with when you first play the stage, particularly.
Oh yeah, for this last stage here, this is just kind of a mini version of the final stage in both regular Assault and Assault Plus Super Mode.
Oh, okay.
Except here, it's just more Type 1 turrets, so you don't even have to deal with the threat of like being very cautious and going up to them. You can just pretty much go up to them right away and then hit them before they can even get a chance to fire off at you.
Yeah, that's right. That is something that's pretty key to remember too, is that it does take the enemies, like particularly these like large turrets, like a good like 2 or 3 seconds to even fire at you before once they see you.
Yeah.
Even we just saw right there, like you went up to that black one and it got its shot off like two or 3 seconds after. Like that's pretty important because you'll end up using that too to your advantage when you die. Sometimes you'll use that just to like maybe squeak by a death or a kill on one of the turrets before it fires off or something like that.
It also works on regular enemies too, I believe, because like I believe when you like immediately die and then recover upon a death, if a missile dude like fires 2 missiles, they just won't come out for about 5 seconds. Same thing with the spread shot guys.
Okay. But yeah, you're just kind of clearing out this area of all the targets, of course.
Yeah, pretty much.
Want to max up the score here, and you can still looks like you're probably still going to beat it on the time limit even after clearing out all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, time limit's not really a problem for this stage. It's just my personal goal is trying to get to 240,000 with no miss, and right now, like in this run alone, I'm like off by 10k, so I'm still working on figuring out like how to maximize my score in this stage, because I don't think I really do it here.
Well, it's weird because like, what could you be missing if there's only the ground targets and the turrets here?
To be honest, I'm not really sure because I think the world record for this one is 1,264,000.
Unless it was the time.
Yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe I just have to be a little bit faster, because I did another run like the other day where I missed. I did hit 240,000, but I had to like lose 1 life in the process.
That's kind of interesting for the easy ending. It's like says you regained your major territory. It's like not all of it, but
yeah,
you got some ground back in the war against the humans here.
Nice run there.
Pretty much. I mean, it's probably just like encouraging you, just being like you haven't actually beaten the real game yet, because the subtitle for this mode is Scenario 2, Rehearsal for the Battle of the Core. So it's kind of just like introductory, campaign.
Notice that stage looks like a sideways question mark. That's how they came up. That's how they came up with that. Like, yeah, I don't know, just question mark.
Oh, we have a comment that Maximo is a lot more aggressive at this game than Aquas. Like, kind of have different play styles.
Yeah. I'd say that's natural because he's going for like high score and stuff like that, and I've just been going for clears. But
yeah, I would agree with that, because normally when I watch like even Aquas's runs on his Twitch like a while back, like he really does like play some sections safe, just because like I think getting the clear is like pretty important. But then when you're going for higher score, you have to be aggressive in order to get like either some of those time bonuses or just to get like certain houses out of the way. Oh, and here's the intermission photo. It's like the only other artwork you get from the actual game.
Yeah, that artwork is you gotta really enjoy that, because even if you beat the Super Assault 1cc, you don't get a picture like that. Like,
Yeah.
why?
I remember you were really dismayed about that. You're
Yes,
just like, where's my
I
picture?
still am. Like, I was expecting like an even cooler picture, and I got nothing. You win nothing.
Yeah, dude.
You you get
Yeah.
nothing. But I don't know. I guess it's okay if you get a picture for the easy, but they should have saved it for a super. Like,
Yeah.
come on, like.
Or just like a photo op or something of like all the tanks just like pictured together.
And then in the regular Assault, there's no artwork just at all.
Yeah.
Except for like the ending pictures of the tanks, I guess.
Yeah, I think someone was noting too, like on one of those sites that I did my information on, that there seems to be like not a lot of text in this game, and they attributed that to like maybe them kind of rushing on like the world building at the end, since you don't even know about that story until you read the Namco museum files.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess just excuses.
Yeah,
for
probably.
my lack of picture. All right, so we're gonna go to 153 here for the Assault Plus Super Assault replay. Here's the real meat and potatoes here.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, easy mode, it's just easy in comparison. Like they really like did some interesting tweaks to make the clear more tricky, and probably for score also even be harder. And,
Yeah.
Assault Plus here, and we're talking about a little bit earlier how they add a lot of the mid-boss generator enemies, but the remix stages and the tweaked enemy healths as well. Just a lot of little things that go into it, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
So, would you say shit's about to get real?
Yes, pretty much. Now you're going to be getting assaulted pretty
All
hard.
right, get hype, everyone.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
And this one is scenario number 3, Battle of the Core. I guess referring to how Assault, the original one, is scenario number 1 or something. But
Yeah.
they never explain why that is. So even this first stage right here is like already kind of tricky just to get out, because you've got that spread shot dude you have to deal with, and then you have those black tanks which just zip around the screen like nobody's business. And then over here, I destroyed the heads of these underwater turrets first, because you could bomb them if you like are really caring about time, and I actually recommend that if you're going for survival. But for score purposes, you get like extra 500 for destroying like the back as well as the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just kind of throw you in here with just targets on all corners of the map, and just kind of expect you to kind of figure it out.
Are those trees you're blowing up?
Yes, I believe they are.
Nice.
Yeah, you'll notice like destroyed trees. There's like debris from the craters or the rocks.
Yeah.
All that stuff slows you down, and there's even like some other, even worse terrain. Like I think there's the marshes, and there's like there's even like a there's like one jungle in this stage that like slows you down to a super crawl. I don't know, maybe it's like a swamp or something.
One of
you
my
mean, like,
favorite
water?
things about shooters is the environmentalism.
Yeah, you get a lot of that here. Like even in this stage alone, like that green area, you're just going to be slowed down super.
Well, it sucks too, because sometimes you won't be thinking about all the terrain, and you'll do a roll, and like your roll will get slowed down by the terrain.
Yeah.
And it won't be fast enough to evade a bullet.
Yeah, definitely.
That was a bad joke, by the way. I said environmentalism because you blow lots of shit up.
Oh yeah, here, if you're not careful where you're setting that up, you can get stuck and then just get blown up.
Yeah, you can get stuck on the edges of the terrain pretty easily.
Yeah, you can get stuck on these walls too. Like that happens sometimes.
And like you'll have to like back out.
Yeah. I think there's actually one point later on this run where that does happen, where I kind of get stuck and there's just like my goof moment. But we'll retell it way later.
I just like that.
And here's your first depressed tank right here.
Yeah, he's shot once, and look at that. He just
Like, just kill me now.
He just didn't give a fuck after that.
Oh yeah, and you've always got to be careful at this part too, when you're setting it up.
Yeah.
Just because if you don't kill at least 2 of those guys, you're going to be overwhelmed really easily by the combination of those small tanks and then that one big tank.
Yeah, it doesn't help either because they have a wide open area up here to pincer you with attacks, basically.
And then you always be careful about those 4 flyers right there. That's new.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of stepped up the heat of this stage, maybe like 1 notch or maybe 2 notches compared to the original, I felt like.
Yeah.
And notice you can destroy those little bullets.
Yes, the orange bullets can be destroyed either by shooting at them, or if you've activated your nuke and it launches, then it cancels out the orange bullets that are closest to you, kind of like a mini shield of sorts.
Yeah, that's really handy.
I don't think you can really use it as much in this version though, because there's a lot more enemies that use like the pink spreads.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
This section right here is kind of treacherous because there's these 2 missile dudes that you have to be careful of. And since this corridor is like pretty narrow, you really want to be careful about where your tank is positioned.
Yeah.
And I purposely go to the upper right here because if I don't, then I usually run out of time.
Okay.
And then I try to kill these guys before they become a problem, which if you like mash your finger and have it break off fast enough, then yeah, you can probably kill all those guys before they get any missiles fired off. And then here, just always be careful of the missiles launching any lasers. And then now I'm taking care of this mid-boss enemy and making sure that I don't get hit by any combination of missiles, shots, or whatsoever. Because,
ooh, that was close.
yeah, lots of close moments in this game like that.
It's a lot of bullets in this mode.
Yeah, it only gets crazier as you go closer to the end of the game. It almost makes you wish that there was like a way to practice.
And then it was nice too when you came into this area. You kind of drove near the back end because there was some triggers for the flying enemies, and those particular ones are programmed to kind of fly behind you or to maybe to the behind it to the side of you. So they just fly right into the cliffside where they self-destruct. But you'll be seeing that be utilized more throughout the next stage in particular.
Yeah, I should also mention too that for the beginning of stage 4, the reason I go back and destroy those missiles is because if you go forward, not only do you have to deal with that 2 missile barrage that comes out, but then you also have to deal with the ones in the back, and it's way too hard to avoid that.
Yeah, they set you up for an ambush, which is really annoying.
So I lose a little bit of time there, but it's for the sake of safety, I guess.
That ambush is really annoying.
Yeah.
Even if you know it's coming, you might not survive.
Yeah, so then when I do that strategy, just by going in the back, you just get 100% every time. And then I think the majority of this first part plays out similarly to stage 5 in Assault, where you're just baiting out these flyers and then nuking them when they get up close and then wrecking them.
You want to talk maybe about randomness in the game? Like there are like a lot of enemies that do determined things. Like the flyer is always flying to you in a determined way.
Oh, yeah, actually I can talk about that. So the worst thing about this game is like you have to deal with missiles, and they come in two varieties. One of them are just like, it's either like shot straight ahead of you by these missile tanks, like the one coming up ahead, and those accelerate over time. And then you also have these blue tank missiles, which they fire four missiles out of them. The problem with those ones is that they can just randomly curve, and if you're not expecting it, you might just and you don't know how the trajectory works, it might just loop back around and come back to kill you, even though you're but it was heading off screen. It shouldn't have happened. It can also happen with, yeah. It can also happen with those tiny flying enemies too. And then right here is another mid-boss appearance, and you have to be careful not to be completely in the water when you fire off your nukes. Otherwise, you can't do anything.
Yeah, that's right. When you're in the water, you can't launch.
So, but yeah,
there's that bit of randomness, and then some of the movement of some tanks is I would say seemingly random. Like some of the ones that seek after you, they kind of seek after you in a kind of lost puppy dog kind of way sometimes.
Yeah.
But I guess you could maybe interpret that as randomness. It's hard to say.
Oh yeah, I didn't do this section right, but what you're supposed to do is be right next to the wall so that they just automatically, they're automatically destroyed. But then for some reason I didn't do that.
The problem with that though is you're not getting score for those too, though. Have you considered that?
Yeah, but it's always an element of can I score here without getting screwed over?
Yeah.
Because sure, I could get 200 points more if I nuke the enemy, but in the long run, it's and plus two, there's certain in this stage, it's you really want to worry more about those yellow tanks or the blue statues.
And you're gonna be using time over here, aren't you?
Yeah, I pretty much have to, because one, I don't have auto fire, and secondly, I can't consistently kill the black generator in one hit. Which, if I could, then I could try to devise something around that.
Ooh, that was kind of a close one.
We have a question. Has the runner played on a real assault cabinet?
Okay, so the story behind this, I go to school in Long Beach, and there's a religious center that does have it, but the last time I was actually able to try it out was when I was starting out the game about 3 or 4 months ago. And when I tried to go there recently, it was still out of commission. So sadly, I haven't actually done a clear on a real cab, but I would like to someday.
So was it not working when you first found it as well?
No, it was.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that was the bad part. It just doesn't work right now, when I'm actually a master at the game.
You had to complain at the
I know.
HR
I did.
or something.
I was when are you guys gonna fix? And they're I don't know, because I don't know any other place that has it in the area, since we don't have many arcades in LA anymore.
Oh yeah. So yeah, and so that is the assault pad here. If you use it, it triggers a bunch of more flyers. You didn't use it, did you?
No.
Okay, you must have used one earlier because it's blacked out.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even understand that because I don't remember using it on.
Oh, you didn't. Okay, yeah, they must have. Weird. Guess you just don't get any.
I mean, it would make more sense if it was because when I used to do my old strategy, I would use the first pad in order to clear out the enemies. But I don't anymore, considering that I figured out that if you use the pad, it limits the amount of enemies that can appear on screen or that you can kill.
Is that because it the sprite limit gets reached, or are you talking about something else?
It's kind of the same thing, but I guess what I could say is, like, one example you could do is on stage 1 of regular assault. If you use the lift, you can only get like something like 10,000 points. But then if you don't use the lift, you get the maximum of like 11,600 because there are just more enemies that haven't like cleared out of the screen. So I guess, yeah, it is related to the sprite limit.
Does the number of lives you have factor into scoring, or is that not important?
Yeah, in this game, there's actually clear bonus where depending on it, the amount of lives that you have remaining is multiplied by 200k. So in this one, for example, I have 4 lives remaining at the end, and that nets me about 800,000, which almost doubles my score compared to the regular run.
I do like that because not only is this version, it's harder, I would say, in general. It's nice to get rewarded for survival just because of that. Like, some of these sections are quite annoying.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really driving backwards here.
Oh, the reason I'm doing that is because, like, if I try to do this like normally, then you're gonna get overwhelmed by these tanks and most likely like lose a life. Yeah. So when I go back, the tanks just kind of just drive off or whatever, and then as a result of that, they just kind of disappear, which may be related to the sprite limit again, or it just might be related to like the viewable distance and how much it's willing to put on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a weird thing about the game. It's like once some of these tanks see you for the first time, like I basically consider them like activated at that point. And like once they're activated, they seem to drive around in certain patterns that isn't consistent, it seems, either.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is because I found some strats where they do consistently move around in the last stage in such a way that it's like preferable. And also one of the other strats I came up with for the second to last stage, where where like you like drive up and you have a tank detected, but I want to drive away, so then I drive away and then it just drives away on its own. Like, I'm not sure if it's doing something in particular once they go out of their sight range, because I do think that once you're far enough from some of the mid tanks, they do change their AI, or they don't see you anymore, essentially.
Yeah, and then they're just like not actually on the screen at all.
But that range though is really long. It's like it's got to be like 4 or 5 screen length or something until they don't see you after they've activated.
Yeah,
which
honestly,
is kind of weird.
I'm not exactly sure what the distance is either, but I just know like once they get beyond a certain point, then they just don't appear, and that's like really helpful to getting rid of like most of those tanks in that area, so that you can focus solely on the mid boss and dodging.
So you actually despawned like 2 of them or something there then?
I think it despawned like about 4 of them.
Oh, okay. It seemed like you kind of killed the same amount, but maybe it was 2 less. There's a bunch there, I know.
Yeah, that mid boss right there is always kind of like a nerve wracker because it's such a narrow area you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay, so get my time bonus for that area, and that's where I consider like the first half of the game to end. And now this is like where the real madness begins, because I do this funny ass strat where you go around a circle to bait all these flyers out, don't destroy anything else, and then just keep bombing until you get rid of all of them.
Yeah, this ambush definitely was not in the original game.
And then once you get rid of that, the stage is essentially similar to Assault Stage 6. And then you also get the sweet return of the first BGM.
Yeah, the music is great. It gets you, it fits the mood just perfectly and kind of keeps you nice, gives you a nice rhythm to continue the game with, I think.
Yeah, I also thought like, I don't know, too, like I thought the first BGM was also really interesting because it's like an 8/5 time signature, so it just
Really?
makes everything like really kind of syncopated in a way that kind of gets your blood boiling.
Yeah.
8/5 or 5/8?
No, 8/5, so it's like
8/5?
5. Yeah.
Wow.
It's actually whenever they do remixes of this theme, like for the Namco Museum version, they made it like 8/4 instead because it just works better for like trying to do a live recorded performance instead of like, oh man, I'm gonna miss that fifth note or something. Oh yeah, now you're gonna get to see a little goof up of mine where I just get stuck.
Nice.
Oh man. That's terrible.
I almost freaked out at that point because I was like, oh no, am I gonna like run out of time? But then I was like, no, I got this. And yeah, here I don't worry about these yellow tanks as much, but then I go up here, this one dude fires his missiles, and then I go over to these pads, and then bam, all these blue statues, and you bomb those and get a nice point increase.
Oh, nice. Do those only spawn if you point over there a bit? Or are they there?
Well, I think they're just there, but you can only access them like if you're using the assault pad.
Oh, right.
Because normally you couldn't do it. I only figured it out because of the Super Play video I was watching, where the guys pretty much did that, except with like a little bit better positioning.
Yeah. The problem with that is that you activate that orange tank over there, which can shoot sniper missiles at you from across the space.
Well, some of them can, because like I've seen there's certain ones that do, and there's certain ones that don't. From what I've experienced.
Is that a depressed tank over there? I think it was. I think I saw him just kind of driving around in a circle.
So. There you go. Stage 5 is clear. Pretty easy stage. It's mostly just like they just reward you with points.
Yeah, because that stupid stage 5 is so freaking long.
Yeah. And now this is the Tanks a Lot stage.
Tanks a lot.
You call it tanks a lot. I call it tanks everywhere.
Yeah, I'm appreciated now.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun playing this game, coming up with names for the depressed tanks and whatnot.
Yeah.
Even though they actually do have names that we found, I guess now we know from the Wikipedia, but
yeah,
those are like so technical sounding.
Yeah, like for these ones, just like Type 1 armor tank. It's like, wow, very inspiring.
I'm usually just calling them by the colors or the sizes.
Yeah. I mean, that's usually what I see everyone else do, just because, like, the names kind of are pretty boring for the most part.
Yeah, these little red tanks, though, I think they're one of the worst small ones, because once they know you're around, they kind of meander towards you, and then once you're in range, they do aim directly at you.
Yeah.
So they're pretty threatening, because if any of them slips by your radar, so to speak, you're just gonna die if you're not constantly moving.
Yeah, especially like in this stage too. Like, I would recommend not destroying all the terrain immediately, just because the terrain blocks their orange shots, and you can kind of use that to your advantage when you do like a group of 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then here, all of these tanks fired like one volley of missiles, and now they're just meandering about. So you don't have to worry about them at all. You can just concentrate on taking out the pesky purple reddish tanks, I guess.
Yeah. It can be tough though, because you're never quite sure how many of the little red tanks that you're activating.
Yeah.
And so since the game is like vertically oriented, like the sides when you're pointing upwards are like a blind spot, and that's where all these enemies are gonna pop out of. So it's like it really creates this tension.
Yeah, I did notice that. Like, it's like your viewing distance is like less on the sides, so you always have to be more careful about that. Just make sure that you're clearing out everything.
I think the game would probably play a little bit differently if it was oriented 3-4 for sure.
Oh, that would be interesting to see. But there's no sequels to this game, sadly.
Yeah, where's our Assault 2017 full body arcade?
I know, man.
That'd be awesome.
Like, yeah, it's like this game and I think Metal Hawk, like two of the best games on the Namco system too. Just they never got like any sequels to them because they're just like, who cares?
It just seems like, yeah, it's like these games, they were pretty like great on great paper, great games as well, but just didn't grab everyone like they thought maybe they would.
Well, I think the thing
know.
too is that it's like it's specialized control setups too, and that always takes like additional time to learn.
Oh,
And then on top of it too, like I'm pretty sure like since this is like one of the highest powered systems, like when it came out in like early 1988, it probably cost a lot of money to like license that as well too. Because like this too, the system not only is like beefy in like the graphics department where it has, I think it's like the first system to use like both hardware rotation of both backgrounds and sprites at the same time, but it has like 32 channels of sound or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what I just did back there is a few of those other tanks that were shooting the pink spreads got activated, and then once I killed the missile dudes over there, I come up over here, destroy some yellow tanks, activate the rest of them.
Oh, hey, a giant Namco logo.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's reminding you that this is Namco. So essentially from that point onwards, you only have to deal with that tank on the side right there, and then one on the back. But not too bad as long as you just know what to do.
Man, yeah, it looks like you had a good route there.
Yep. And at this point too, I have 6 lives in stock, so I'm going pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely.
And now this stage, I think this stage like gives you the most in terms of points, but you have to set it up a bit particularly at the beginning because they decide to place like these 4 turrets right here, and for survival you could decide to use the assault pad there and get rid of 2 of them like almost immediately, but I don't because I want to save those assault pad uses for like the blue statues when they appear later on.
Okay. I like how you just getting that one like that. That's pretty good. I didn't even realize they reached.
Yeah, it does, because it's a similar thing to the turrets at the end of like stage 4 and super, where the blast radius like barely reaches far enough to hit it.
Okay.
Like you think, like when you were first playing this, you wouldn't think it would be doing that, but it does. Well, actually, I totally forgot. Yeah, in this run, I used it once because when I was previously trying to record it, I was consistently getting bad luck and just getting sniped, either by one of the yellow tanks or just not entering properly.
Wait, you're talking about getting ambushed on an assault pad?
No, I'm talking about like when you're entering this corridor right here. I was getting ambushed by yellow tanks in previous runs.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't want that to happen.
I see, yeah, you did spend extra time destroying all that crap, I see.
Yeah, because it's like once you really get in there, you just have one tank on the left firing stuff at you, and then you have to deal with those 2 big turrets. And eventually I figured out like a safer way to get past it. But so now it's just like, if I do this again for future runs, it's just a matter of execution.
Yeah.
So let's see, what can I talk about here? Usually I just destroy that one purplish tank so that he just doesn't get in the way when I'm trying to get the blue statues further up ahead. Then I go over here, and then bam, all these blue statues right here.
Dang.
Just give you a buttload of points.
Yeah, they're worth a lot.
Yep, and that gives me another extend right there at 600k. Extends into this game are the first one's at 40k, the next one's at 120k, and then it extends every 120k after that. See, and then once I get into this area, I kill a little bit of enemies first, and then I just keep going straight up because there are more blue statues over here that you can use to boost your score.
Okay. Are you gonna beat the stage in time?
No, I take
Okay,
one time
really?
out here.
Oh, you do? Okay. I
Because-
was thinking you probably would then.
If you go for score, like it's pretty much impossible to like do the stage on like one life,
Okay,
unless
yeah.
you're just ignoring like that stuff.
Yeah.
Which to me, it doesn't really bother me too much, and when I do it, because I'm out in this stage alone from just like score, I'm getting like +2 in lives, so I
Right.
get +1 regardless.
Yeah. That is a nice thing playing for score, is you do get a lot of extra lives that are handy. I feel like in like my just 1cc runs, I could have used some extra lives.
Yeah, I did see that.
But
'Cause, like, when you get to
I was
the end-
stubborn though.
Yeah, I mean, like once you get to the end of the game, like it's literally just like making or break it for your score. But I'll probably talk more about that like once we get to that stage. So right here, I kind of just avoid these depressed tanks, and then just keep going forwards, and then kind of create a mini setup over here, as to intentionally misdirect the missile tanks that are firing. So there's one that's going to be firing at me from like there, and then one firing there,
Oh man.
and then my time's up.
That's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, definitely. Always got to be careful of this setup right here.
Yeah, this is a little bit tricky area, I felt like.
Yeah, and I believe there's one more group. Yeah,
Yeah, because
one
you have
more
like
group I
all
have to
those
take care of.
you have like all those triggers, and if you forget one.
Oh yeah, and I almost fuck up here too because I totally forgot about this blue tank just going wild.
He was going wild.
And then I forgot about that green dude right there. Okay, so now that's taken care of. Just move along the side right here. Just bam, points, more points. Now I'm
Yeah.
back up to like 7 extra lives.
Yeah, it's so much.
Getting points always feels good.
Yeah, the extend sound in this game too is like pretty sweet as well. And then I think in this area, normally there's like dudes that shoot off like additional spreads, but since they're depressed here, it's like only one volley, so you don't have to really worry about them too much,
Yeah.
which makes it really nice compared to trying to do the same thing in regular assault.
Yeah, it's like one of the parts that's actually harder in regular.
Yeah, definitely. Whereas like here, you can actually like go across this entire area without having to worry about like something scary happening to you.
My God, I just lost my shit during that ASX run playing this.
Dude, yeah. That's crazy the way it ended too, because I was like, I realized after the fact, like, a safer way that you could enter in there.
Oh man.
Because I think what happens too is that, like, later on, you intentionally have to, like, misdirect additional enemies besides, like, the first time you, like, poke your nose up and activate 2 of those tanks. But that's something I'll explain when I get to that stage too.
I heard there's going to be an even bigger ASX next year.
Oh, that would be really dope. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So.
I'm going to try to go to it. Like,
Yeah, that would be pretty fun to go
fun
to.
stuff.
I wonder if she just like played this for ASX, if even.
Just non-stop assault training.
Yeah, essentially just do like guerrilla warfare, assault plus.
Totally should.
You'd have to get an actual cabinet or something
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, probably, because then people just be like, "Hey, this is like keyboard cheater. It's not the real assault experience." But yeah, that would still be pretty dope, I guess.
I'm
And
guessing
then-
console versions don't count.
Oh, I mean, you can do whatever. I was just kind of saying. After playing Assault that much, you should own a cabinet.
Yeah, and then
Oh, yeah.
yeah, exactly. If I'm like being a crazy fanatic about it, like I have been, you know, I just have to go full in. So that part right there, I kind of goofed up because for some reason a bunch of those blue statues were just missing, and then I missed out on about 30,000 points.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's gotta be like you must have reached the sprite limit somewhere, and then like the first thing it wanted to get rid of was those. Then you maybe have to figure out some other route, I guess.
Yeah, because most of the time I usually get it. It's just for like that one run I didn't. And now here is stage 9, that evil opener,
Yeah.
which I proceed to just screw up for some reason because
Damn.
the debris just stops me.
Rip.
Yeah. Damn. 200,000
At least it's not as
points.
bad as like you're almost out of there and then you get hit by a missile and then you're just like,
Yeah, you can get hit by one right in here. Yeah, maybe that
Yeah.
one.
yeah, it's always quite the hair-raising moment. And then having those black tanks just fire those shots at you.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, they just start that section off. Just you're completely surrounded.
Yeah.
So I
So-
mean, you have to do something about it. Did you consider ever like fighting all that crap?
I think you probably could, but I think you're still forced to take a timeout because in the Super Play video, the guy does it, but I just wanted to go for like more consistency and just like check out to see if like that strat would actually work. And I've gotten to a point now where it's like it works 50% of the time, but the thing I have to keep reminding myself is if you go over any debris, you're dead because it just slows you down that much more.
Yeah. So I mean, you're trying not to time out here then.
Right now I'm just trying to play it safe, to be honest, because I know that I could possibly like make it to the final gun wall if I rush it, but I don't want to lose like additional lives because when I was previously doing the stage before, I would kind of rush things and then get sniped by one of those spinners.
So you are taking extra time for score then?
Yeah, I just decided to anyways
Okay.
because I was also a little bit low on score at this point.
Okay.
So I was trying to see if I could like find any more orange tanks that I could just get.
Yeah, there's that like watery farmland or whatever. I don't
Yep.
know, but that shit slows you down the most out of anything in the game. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
right there. I mean, is it just like really muddy wetlands?
I mean, well, it is called Crops Grown Riverside for a reason.
It's just you're just driving through crops. So of course, you're probably gonna slow down.
Yeah. Just like
What if
cultivate.
it's like really tall corn stalks? or
Yeah,
something?
probably. That's gotta
Blue
be
corn,
it.
though.
Blue corn.
Stop and eat some blue corn while you're fighting these guys.
Well, it is the alien planet. I mean, so they eat we eat yellow corn. They eat blue corn.
Yeah, it's like different strokes for different folks.
Oh god.
I mean, maybe
I
they
still
could
can't
expand
believe
upon
you're
that in
the
the
alien.
sequel.
I still can't believe that you're the alien in this.
Yeah.
It's like I just learned that today. My life
There's only
is a
one.
lie.
Yeah, there's only one sketch too, and it's like he doesn't even look like that much of an alien. Like, what gives?
Well, hey, war is important.
Yeah, I guess tanks are always more important. Okay, in this area right here, the time has already started counting down, so I'm like, I've resigned myself to my fate of losing one life.
Yes, the main ship is actually a tank. Is the question in the chat room right now? It's a tank that has the treads so large that it can roll on both sides and keep moving.
Yeah. Its name is also called My Tank. Very original.
Lore.
Your tank.
Like,
Two players. The 2-player tank is your tank.
it's like my tank and your tank.
Oh god. Okay, the last gun wall here.
Yeah.
Really tough to
The
do this on
almighty-
one timer, but it is
Yeah.
doable.
Yeah, this section always freaks me out a little bit, just because there's so much shit that's just getting fired at you.
Yeah, you get the,
They kinda
the
do it
fire
like this.
triggers. Yeah.
It's like an offbeat rhythm too, and then you have to deal with those spinners and just hoping that, okay, they'll kill themselves, and then I can just go on with my life. Then yeah,
Oh
time out.
no, you ran out of time.
I know, man. I should just like do the stage 1 life. Not good enough. But the good thing is that my positioning is actually pretty good, so I can kill most of these with just that one shot. And now all I have to deal with is the back end with these Type 3 turrets. And another thing to mention too is that all of these 3 different types of turrets have 3 different HP values. The Type 1 turret has 10 HP, the Type 2 has 20, and the Type 3, which are these ones I'm going after right now, is like 32.
Oh man.
And while shots count for 1 hit of damage, nukes count for 4.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. I thought it might have been 5.
No, because if you test it out like a Type 1 and just do nuke only, it takes 3 nukes to kill a Type 1 turret.
I see. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. My time bonus here is not too bad, I guess. Then now, raised up for this final stage. And then I just started out by killing a few of those turrets, and then gained those 2 tanks to pop out.
Yeah, so I take it you're doing that to get them to move around while you're doing this.
Yeah. But there's like an alteration to what you suggested that I did like after, and you'll
Okay,
see it
cool.
after we kill these first 2 turrets right here.
I'm definitely interested in seeing this because figuring out this stage, it was like a puzzle.
Yeah, it really was. And then it's just like, if there's some parts where it's like you mess it up, then you have to play like way more conservatively. And you'll see that too later on. So let's see. Yeah, then I go up over here. And then spawn these missiles, and this will also get another tank to start firing off volley. And then now I take care of this easy area first, so that the tank back there will just disappear,
Oh,
and I
man.
won't have to deal with him when I'm entering the area.
Okay, yeah,
The only
no,
thing-
neat.
The only thing I have to watch out for is when I'm doing the first turret pattern and then activating the first black generator. So I barely just tilt the viewing distance so that it only catches that first turret, so that I can take care of him way easier, because otherwise it's much more difficult.
When you have the 2 when you go into that
Yeah,
other
the 2
area.
alternating.
Yeah, that can be rough. Yeah, there's some weird stuff that happens, at least in emulator for this stage as well. Like, you'll destroy a lot of these things, these like 4-way enemies here, the ground enemies, but then when you come back to this area after revisiting the other area, the sprites will be fixed. But they'll,
actually that
they'll still be
actually happens
destroyed.
on the PCB too.
Okay. Yeah, I had a feeling that might be the case.
Yeah, actually, someone on one of the, I guess, links I looked for, someone documented that apparently because of the way that it has something to do related to like the way the game just like view stuff. Like if you go past a certain area and then come back to it, it just kind of redraws like what was already there. So for example, like you destroy a turret and you go far away enough from it, the game just kind of redraws like the area as though it were like still intact, but just without the actual, turret.
Yeah. This game, it's a technical feat. I shit you not.
Yeah, totally.
Like it's just got a couple of these things here and there that like, it's kind of like bleeding through the seams, I guess, a little bit. But aside from that, like the game is really well made.
Yeah, and it looks really good too for being a 1988 game. That's what blows my mind.
There's a lot of like arcade games that do fit that criteria. But it's like they look really good for the time. And I think it was just because it was like from 88 to 90 or whatever. It's just like arcades were just better than consoles, just big time at that point.
Well, I think too, like I was discussing this with someone where Namco got a crap ton of money from like Pac-Man in the early 80s, so it gave them a lot of like money to invest into like R&D of new systems.
That Pac-Man boost.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with Sega too. That's why they were able to make all those like super scalar boards.
I guess that's something to consider, yeah. Like the previous success being what drove like the possibility of some other future games.
Yeah, because
that's kind of interesting.
Because I think around this time too, like later in the year, maybe actually around this time too, Namco introduced their first like 3D polygonal system, the System 21. So they obviously had like a lot of resources to invest in that area. Okay, so now I'm entering this final area, and then I'm like hoping that everything will go well in my mind at that moment.
So you got like a tank shooting at you right now from the corner.
Yeah.
Like, were you trying to avoid that? Like, was that predicted or?
Oh no, I did that by accident.
Okay, yeah. That's the main complication you'll find. Is just some stray tank shooting missiles at you.
Yeah, but thankfully it's like it's not that bad at this part. It got like way worse like when I went further up for the next black generator.
It almost looked like you activated the center one there. Ooh.
Yeah.
I would never get that close.
Wait. I don't think there's any center one. It's just the ones on the side. Like,
really?
There's one that activated here. If you keep going straight up, like all the way to the end there's another one that gets activated.
Oh.
And then...
Oh, so the center one was only for regular assault then?
Yeah, actually, for regular assault, it's only the center one. Okay. But I wouldn't recommend doing that one unless you're like pretty experienced, just because for that version, it's like you have to deal with you don't get any depressed tanks in that one. So you better clear out the area first, or you're gonna game over.
Yeah. The mid-boss, I mean, they have a lot of attacks, and they do take up a lot of space, too.
Yeah, usually I try to roll to the left instead of the right, but it's not a big deal there. Then I activate this area over here, and then go to my safe spot, or safe space, as you would put it.
Yeah, the little block here is just big enough to protect you, but you can get a bad angle. I remember I've hidden behind these before, and like some tank maybe from the side might slip one in, something.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah. I think for like this, the tank is stuck on like one of the like gun turrets or whatever, so that's why it's like a constantly fixed pattern. But there's been times where I can clearly it'll either like stay there or it will like clearly just start going towards you, and then I just change my attack pattern just to focus on that first and then go for the turrets.
Yeah, like you never want these big orange tanks on the side of you, like ever.
Yeah. Or just make sure not to be like right super close, because otherwise you're gonna get like a fistful of like death.
Like you do get a decent amount of mobility from the roll, but it only works from so many ranges. So
yeah, and I have to be careful there because I accidentally activated another one. But that first area is like pretty much done, and now I get rid of these missiles over here.
Nice. So I'm guessing that you don't take another death in this run.
No, the only other death is the timeout that I'm going to be getting here because I screwed up my strategy when I was doing this. Because you don't want to activate the turrets; they're like super close. Because I think I go too far to the left and then I activate it. I think that's what it is. Yeah, you can see that now. Like one of the turrets is activated, just firing a bunch of stuff at you.
That's a big problem.
And then I'm like, oh no, what do I do? And it's just like pick and choose. That's what I remember.
Yeah, because remember, like we were saying earlier, like they'll shoot at you from like multiple screen lengths. They don't care once they have activated.
Oh yeah, the other thing too is that that tank right there that's firing stuff is normally supposed to be depressed, but that run it just did not.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like they don't.
And I was like, what the hell?
They had a good day or something.
But I mean, this all works out in the end. But it's just kind of interesting to see how I get myself out of that sticky situation, since I believe I think in your Assault Plus 1cc you kind of had a similar situation too, besides like that one tank just firing off stuff.
Yeah, I swear to God, I've seen the depressed tanks like become normal again.
Yeah,
or something.
I really don't know why that happens.
I feel like if it is true, like they're just kind of doing that to throw a wrench, like just to throw a wrench at you or something.
Yeah,
like you
probably.
thought this enemy type was broken. Well, no, we're just gonna. That was on purpose, and now we're gonna make it actually normal here, just to screw with you.
You
like,
expected a depressed tank, but it was me, Dio.
Oh my god. So yeah, there's a timeout right there, but it's no biggie because I pretty much had this in the bag.
But the 20,000, it is a biggie.
I know, the 200,000.
Or 200,000, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen like anyone besides like that one super player do the stage in like under 2 lives, like 2 timeouts at least. Just because it takes so long to destroy these.
You mean one timeout? One timeout should be enough.
Really?
Yeah.
I've actually never done that.
Yeah, you can do it in one. I'm surprised you're gonna use 2 timeouts.
That's a really tanky enemy.
Yes.
We didn't mention, but there's a way to quick kill the mid boss with a very centrally placed explosion of the bomb.
Yeah, it's like if you get the splash radius to be like exactly center of like the, I guess, core of the black generator, then it can kill it in 1 hit. But it's pretty difficult to pull off.
Yeah, like when you're bombing and then like the splash goes off, but then you see the white flash of the enemy, being hit. That's when you need that radius to be centered. It's actually hard to see the after flash hit there because they might be the frame rate.
Probably. Like this playback on YouTube is only 30 FPS.
Yeah, it might be cutting out the frame there.
But I had to record it at that because at 60 FPS it was like dropping too many frames. Even though this game's refresh rate is like 60.6 normally.
Someone wants to know, is the arcade board expensive for this?
Actually, I don't know about that. I have to look into that. I know, like, for the, I think for the port, it's something like $40 or whatever now. Like, that would be your cheapest way to go. But if you're looking for an actual arcade PCB, yeah, I would have to look that up because I don't know that off the top of my head.
My guess would be that it's pretty expensive because it's like kind of rare.
Well, first Namco System 2 game, and it has all this crap going on with the sound, and yeah, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, I did think the interesting thing is that I think for the original release of regular Assault, the cabinet that was used for the US release only outputted like sound in mono instead of stereo as the board supports. But I don't think that relates to this version of the game. And there you go. Stage 10 clear.
Nice.
Well,
And then,
according to the System 11, it is $300.
300. Damn. I guess I'll have to start saving up.
Hooray! They regained Mother Planet for not Earth.
Yes, the mother planet. The mother planet of them all.
Like one for the other guys, right? You know.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like
Earth.
You guys suck. Go
Earth
home.
doesn't. Earth and the humans don't always need to win. You don't always need to win.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's like getting old. It's like already old.
Yeah, exactly. Just like get out of here.
That's why this game is so ahead of its time. It's like, all right, you're the bad guy.
Earth is so last year.
Yeah, this is 2016.
Like, this is Memorial Land forever. Like,
yeah.
Earth doesn't have
Never
that.
forget for Memorial Day.
Yeah, Memorial Day. I'm just gonna celebrate the assault ending.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be like, "Are you nuts?"
Oh, there's crops growing Riverside.
Yep. Where's the river though?
Space rivers.
Yeah, in the background, it's all dark.
And reconstruct our ruined home, even though technically you're the one blowing everything up.
Yeah.
Many thanks for your play.
That's like such a weird way of like wording it. Just like how the way they word like, now you assault on next stage.
It's definitely Englishy.
Yeah, not as bad as some English I've seen.
I mean, it's like not really improper or anything like that. It's not like the cringy English that I've seen for like most stuff, but it's still kind of like worded in a way that just kind of makes you do a double take and you're like, what?
Have you seen the official translation of Dangun Feveron?
Yeah, I have. Oh, that's
ridiculous.
funny. Oh man.
Yeah. That's a good story.
It is. But yeah, that's Assault Plus.
Yeah, great replay, man. That was some good stuff. Like, total destruction.
Tank.
Yeah,
Near total.
totally, man.
I think it sounds like you're still trying to get it optimized a bit more.
I mean, right now I just like been doing some like casual runs and stuff like that, but I haven't had like a run as good as this one. Suffice to say, like maybe someday I'll get like a 5 life clear or something, or maybe I'll test out like, or just find a version of like main that has auto fire and then see like how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah.
Into like the lives at the end of the game.
Right. That shouldn't be too hard to find a little MAME auto fire version for you.
Yeah, I know. I should probably try shoot 'em up MAME actually, and see if it has any auto fire rates that are like close to what I've been viewing in those super plays.
Alright, so I'm showing the black generator quick kill right now.
Oh, nice.
So you mentioned it earlier, but that mid-boss enemy can be killed with one shot. I'll see it in just a moment here. With one well-placed bomb.
Yeah,
Boom,
this is actually.
there it is.
Yeah.
Schmutt main goes to like 30 hertz, so
Okay.
pretty much any rate you want.
Yeah.
really.
I'll also have to test that out for myself, because it would be really interesting to see like what could actually be changed with auto fire.
Well, you'd at least save like probably a minute, at least a minute of time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like
Probably
if I
a
could
minute,
actually,
minute or 2 minutes.
I think for like some stages, like it's really useful for just like plowing through those missile tanks. Even though, in my personal opinion, it doesn't really feel like the game is really designed around auto fire.
Yeah, maybe not.
But I would say like the run itself is, for one, is like pretty good considering it's like a non-auto fire one, because there were like a lot of times where I had to like kind of tinker and like figure out like, now which part would be, how am I going to do this, so like without auto fire, how much time can I afford to waste here? And it's like I got my first clear after like doing a month of assault, and then doing another month of assault plus super, and then doing like another 3 weeks of just constant practice after that before I got that run.
Yeah.
So this game does require some dedication.
The struggle is real.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
It's great though. Go ahead.
I know what that's like because I've done some pretty tough clears before.
Yeah, dude. There's just been like times where you just like stuff doesn't go well and then you like want to give up, but then you're just like, never give up.
Never give up, or whatever that commercial
like,
was.
What happened too is that it's like you'll think that, oh man, I'm never gonna like get at this rate because I keep screwing up on simple stuff, and then will be like peace of mind, and then you'll get that clear that you've been like savoring for so long, and then you'll just be like on top of the world.
Yeah, feels good. Patience really pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you have like a long game like this too.
Yeah, like
the run can take up to an hour long.
yeah, exactly. And then it's just like when you're getting to the final stage, if you're like tired, you're gonna like run out of steam, and then you're gonna make like silly decisions.
Yeah, that's true. Like, because you have to be so methodical and you have to basically play by the game's rules, essentially, if you want to do everything properly.
Yeah, pretty much. I
If
mean,
you're not, it's like you just get overwhelmed.
yeah, and then you just know when you're overwhelmed, you're not gonna get out of it.
Yeah,
and then you're gonna take a duff.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at how much I ended up liking the game myself, and like I said before, it was nice that you guys that I found out. Yeah, you and some other people did actually play us a little bit for some of our score, but really not much. Like there still really isn't many people who cared to really play it beyond like for a few stages. So, but
I mean,
really good.
I think for regular assault, I've seen like some people like at least a few play for score. Like the dude who has like the Western record for regular assault right now, he scored up to about 788,000, even though I think that's actually beatable considering he actually did on like hard settings instead of like the default normal.
I think it's one of those games that's kind of hard to get into at first because it's kind of an unusual control scheme.
Yeah. And sticks are like always hard to get into, but this is like my first twin stick game too, so I had no idea how like the controls operated before it, even though I've played games before where it's like similar tank controls.
Right. Yeah, you gotta try the two stick method at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I already have them. It's just I gotta practice and just get good.
There you go. You gotta get one step closer to driving an actual tank.
Yeah, and then next on my list after I get the actual PCB is going to be owning an actual tank
Yeah.
and terrorize the neighborhood.
That's the evolution, yeah.
Nice.
Like, I like Assault so much, I took my hobby to the next level.
Yeah, and then actually just started to destroy Earth in revenge for my alien comrades.
Yeah.
I hope
It
you're
just makes
blasting
sense.
some good music while you're driving your tank around.
Well, to be fair, I kind of do that because like sometimes when I'm like driving or whatever to school, I will pop in like the Assault soundtrack and then I'll just be like blasting it as loud as possible.
Dude, hell yeah. Don't fuck with that tank. That is your car.
Yeah, pretty much. That would be interesting to do. But I remember like I was talking with someone about like the soundtrack and they're just all like, there's too much slap bass in it. I'm like, yeah, but you gotta find like the adjusted version because what's set to like on default for MAME, yeah, I agree, it's like way too heavy on like the bass side. But if you adjust it similarly to the Namco Video Game Graffiti Volume 3 soundtrack release, then I find it to be like, I guess, a more balanced experience, even though you can't really hear every single thing in the dynamic range.
I see.
If you ask me, you should play some heavy metal while you like roll over your neighborhood.
Oh, actually, there is a heavy metal version of the first BGM in Assault, but it sadly doesn't have the solo or whatever that's like in the middle section of the song. And then on top of it, there's another version of that where it has some random dude just like doing incoherent screaming for whatever reason.
Damn, hardcore, man. Shit's hardcore.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that also on the Graffiti album?
No. The heavy metal version I'm talking about is, I think it's like in the Assault room of Namco Museum Volume 4 where you can hear it.
Okay. Once again, that is available on the PlayStation Network.
Or PS1 if you're like so hungry for a physical copy.
Yeah. PSN, North America or Japanese is nice.
Yeah, actually, I'm not really sure. The only thing I haven't figured out from the ports is if you can actually toggle between different versions of regular Assault, because like when I booted it up, it was just like not giving me the time bonus when I was practicing for the stages. And then another thing I noted too was that for Plus, the blue statue values were different too. So I wonder if it's like hard to get a high score on that version.
It's always interesting. It's always kind of weird. Sometimes like these companies like tweak the versions of the games, or maybe it's not like a perfect port, or you're never quite sure what's going on sometimes with like the small differences like that. It's
Yeah.
like, was it intentional, or is it just how it is now, or
Yeah,
it's
honestly,
like for people who actually like play the game for score and like for serious like runs, like that can be useful information to have, but of course it's discluded.
yeah, honestly, I'm not sure myself. Like, I would have to take some more time, just like analyze that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that I can get some more competition for this game, especially since Kino is all like, well, I'm gonna like hook up my twin stick to my PC and like MAME it up like a while back, and then it didn't happen. I was like, man.
Yeah. Hopefully I can get some motivation here to try some of these high scoring runs. I think I want to, but at the same time, too many other games.
Yeah, that's always like the biggest difficulty. Like, there's a lot of other games I want to get to and stuff like that, but sometimes something just kind of like pops in your lap like this did, and then I was just like, I'm just going to invest my time into it.
Yeah, well, if anything, yeah, we'll have a great standard for anyone else coming to do high score runs in the Western community. Definitely a great standard there, and it's just a fun game. So
it is.
I think with that, we can wrap this one up for episode 107 on Assault Plus. Thanks a lot, ggmaximo, for coming on with the replays, and it was a pleasure.
Good job.
Oh, definitely. Thank you.
Yep, glad we could do it and talk about it, and I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll get the motivation to play this again. But I have a feeling it's going to be a little. You'll have to wait a little while until I come back.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's cool.
Yeah.
As long as you get more people playing it, it's good.
Yeah, definitely. Because it is playable. Whatever control scheme you can figure out, pretty much figure it out. So.
Yeah. Whether you do keyboard, you do your twin stick method, or you do double arcade sticks method, like either one is good.
Yep. Okay, so that'll do it. So thanks everyone for coming by, watching, and until next time on STG Weekly. Goodbye, everyone.